Hello again. This is Stefan Senna. This is my channel, The Coherence Path. And sometimes life is just about kind of marching to your own rhythm. And that's what allows you to be coherent with yourself. I have a little friend back here. At least I'd like to think of her as a friend, and that's this llama. Now she's doing exactly what's coherent with her. Now the horse here on this property, if you happen to have seen that other video, is not shy. It likes to communicate and be around people, and it's easy to feed the horse some nice little snacks. But the llama is marching to its own beat. She doesn't like much attention. She doesn't like coming to the fence and saying hello. She will. Another time that there were sheep here, I would hang out with the sheep and stand amongst them and stare at them, and she would come in close sometimes and stare at me. But for the most part, she likes to stay back there where she doesn't have to interact with other people. And it may be that you might relate to this in some way. I know that I can. There's days that I don't want to communicate with other people. Maybe I just want to sit at home and work on a drawing or watch a movie or go for a walk and just march to my own beat. And you know, it's perfectly okay for us to march to our own beat. We don't have to try to be something we're not. We don't have to force ourselves to be extroverts if we're not, or if we're extroverts and we just don't feel like seeing people. That's perfectly fine. We can be in our own place and take a nap, or go watch a movie by ourselves, or take ourselves out to lunch, whatever it is, read a book. And that's perfectly fine. And that's what's coherent for us in that moment. That's what makes us feel at ease, feel at peace. And sometimes, too, we might have things that are, troubling us, things that we have to figure out. And so taking time out to do what we need to do to care for ourselves is important. So we can take a big lesson from this llama. Now it's not trying to give a lesson. Obviously, it's just being itself and being coherent with who it is. But she's a beautiful animal. She's enjoying the sun today, and every time I'm here, she always seems to be at ease and at peace with what she's doing. Sometimes she's nibbling on things like the fence, and other times she's laying down, rolling around in the grass or the dirt. And she gets to wander off into different pastures and see the ducklings and the geese. And there's lots of animals that come around here too. There's deer and bears, and who knows? I know there's elk as well. There's been a herd of elk move through here. And there might even be a moose that wanders around here. So besides the horse and the ducks and geese, she's got lots of company that come and go, and she never seems to be bored. And we have a lot of things that come into our lives: our jobs, family, friends, errands we got to run, different things we have to do to be operating this human life. And those things come and go, but if we can remember to just be good to ourselves, take time out for ourselves, and just be ourselves, be congruent, be coherent with what we need, then that can create some peace in our lives that translates throughout the rest of our day, week, month, even year, and the rest of our lives. But if we live a life where we're always trying to live up to somebody else's expectation, then that's frustrating. It causes anxiety, and it's just not fun. So that's it. Just a short video today. Thanks for stopping by, and just want to let you meet a new friend of mine that I have, and maybe we can learn something from her as she's living her life. There's examples all around us. Nature is the most peaceful place we can be. Oh, and to mention nature, we went mushroom hunting yesterday, and that was a very pleasant experience. You know, if you're looking for something fun to do and you live in an area where it does rain a lot, like the Pacific Northwest where I'm from, mushroom hunting is a fun thing to do. Of course, you have to know that there are poisonous mushrooms and there are ones that you can eat. Yesterday, however, we probably picked maybe, I would guess, probably 12 to 15 pounds of mushrooms, mostly chanterelles, but we also found some porcini. Porcini, is that what they're called? They were quite a surprise. But besides the ones that we picked, we found probably a dozen or more beautiful mushrooms from these little small ones that were red, and they had these white speckles all over them. And they're very poisonous, I guess, but they're incredibly beautiful. And then we found this really big mushroom. It was bigger than a dinner plate. It looked like, we thought it was turkey tail mushroom? A turkey tail mushroom? But it wasn't. It was some other type of mushroom that was poisonous. But and then we found all kinds of little tiny ones of different colors and sizes and shapes, and it was quite the adventure. Now, it wasn't about getting the mushrooms to eat for myself. I think they're good, and I've enjoyed them quite a bit. It was just a fun adventure of doing that. When I was a kid, I used to walk around in the desert and look for all kinds of little bugs and reptiles and frogs and all sorts of things. And I just enjoyed looking at them. Sometimes I'd bring them home and look at them with my magnifying glass or under my microscope, and then I'd let them go. It was amazing how, like the legs of whether it was a black widow or dragonfly or whatever it was, some tiny little insect, if you see them under a microscope, you see how much detail and artistry the universe puts into all of us. And it's a situation where you can really be grateful for how incredibly diverse and creative the universe is. And so if you don't have mushrooms where you're at, I'm sure there's some aspects of nature, whether there's plants or insects or other creatures to explore, and it's fun. Just get out and take some time to yourself to just become coherent within yourself, to just be in balance, in alignment with what you need in the moment. Because, maybe your life is demanding certain things and you just need some time out. So that's all this video is about today. Just offering you an opportunity to think about the possibility of just being yourself and to do something that might be fun. All right, thanks, and I'll see you in the next video.